Alright, so this game will be an intense fight over who gets to control the koi pond in order to do fishing. Now it's kind of interesting to comment on it, but you can actually overfish the koi pond in this game. If you fish too many times from that koi pond, it will not give you fish, but it will just produce fruits. So it's going to be a race between both players to see who can get the fish before they go extinct.
I have no idea if you're like making stuff up or not. I hope that's a genuine mechanic. You can't fish from the same spot too many times. If it's not, I hope they add it. That would be amazing.
It is worth noting that besides the koi pond, there are several other spots on the map where you could fish, but those are less valuable because they're less likely to give you the prized chucklefish. Said to only appear 1 in 1,000 times. So, definitely going to be an exciting mirror match.
Okay, so to actually commentate on like what they're doing in like the game itself, we see a mage come out, heal on Merciful. The Saikoya is going for the full heal, which he can get, unlike Alsame, because of the way that money works on this map at this point.
Yeah, it's actually interesting that Alsame went for a mage. That's not typically what you see on... not mage as the second build, that's for sure. So I think Alsame does not have enough health to guarantee that he can kill this 5 health village. That might be slightly suboptimal for him. Whereas Saikoya is at enough health. Okay, but Alsame gets the roll, so that's good for him.
I just realized, because they're playing Merciful, they can aggressively capture villages.
Right.
And it doesn't really matter nearly as much. That actually... that does change things quite a bit.
Right. That's why I feel like this map kind of favors slow chargers. Because against someone like Wolfar, right, you can just go for aggressive captures versus Wolfar and it doesn't matter. You can never deny him groove, so there's no point trying. You just go for aggressive captures and get your money while you can. And deny him like money also. So he has to spend time decapping before he can cap. And the commander gets delayed a bit by like having to be distracted by all the villages as well.
Yeah, he's just gonna decap. So they're both gonna have equal amounts of groove at the end of their turns. And it's not really a race to see who can get... Although, oh, this is interesting. So Alsame has to hit the village with a sword if he wants to. Whereas Saikoya doesn't have that. He can just...
Yeah,
this is interesting.
And you see the way it works out, right? In the capture phase, like next turn, this village is gonna be at 7, and Saikoya's gonna heal back to 100. So he'll be able to knock it out. Like he'll be at the perfect amount of health for him to knock it out in one hit. And then after that, this village in the middle is going to be at 7 on the turn after that, so he can knock it out in one hit again. So this is how, like in the early meta on this map, people were able to charge a slow groove as early as like turn 5 or turn 6, just by chaining 3 decaps together like that, and just getting your groove. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, so yeah, like the meta then developed into don't give your opponent forward, or don't take the forward villages, like just let your opponent capture them and you focus on going for the captures on your side and just denying a lot of groove.
I do feel that of the two players, Alsame is the one who puts less effort into like optimizing his opening, which is why he usually kind of falls behind a little bit in the early turns. But we've seen that he's able to make it back, so to speak, with a combination of good plays and thunk, long thinking turns later in the game.
Oh, that roll with the spear. He
Oh,
wanted
that's
to,
unfortunate.
yeah.
But it's actually like a 50-50, right? Because that thing was at what, 30 health, and the spear does 25 to 35.
I guess you do have the option, like if you really want to go for it, with using like your other spear to set up a crit, just to guarantee it. But obviously, then you have like 2 spears at the back line.
Yeah. I do think that like spears are a little bit of a trap on this map. Like, I mean, they seem good early on, but um, your spears are terrible against the enemy rifle, and they're gonna really struggle to do anything in the later stage of the game besides wall. They're good at walling, but they will not be able to pressure the sides, like actually help to control these side villages, which are much better controlled by, say, knights and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think on this map, ooh, he gets an archer. I'm a big fan.
Ooh,
I think you should only really ever go up to like 3 spears total,
right.
because 2 you set up for crits, but if they kill one of them, then like the remaining spear is a lot weaker. Whereas like if you have 3, then they kill 1, then you've got like the double crit return. So, and like 3 is a good wall as well. Like there's a lot of spaces on this map where you could fill with like 3 spears.
Right. But the real weakness of spears on this map is the rifle's line of fire is like 3 tiles wide, right? So the spear can't cross it in a single move, and so sometimes your spears just end up stranded because they don't want to get hit by the rifle.
Yeah, although sometimes it's worth just sacking a hit on like for just taking a hit with your units and saying like, yeah, I'm just gonna like it's not worth me worrying too much. And a rifle doesn't one-shot a spear unless it's on a road, so
That's true as well. Like sometimes you just have to engage into the rifle fire and like you just eat the losses, but it's just one hit, right? It's not that big of a deal when you're engaging with your whole army.
any other options, like you can use balloons to ferry spears around, which are very good, because I think archers are actually really quite good on this map. I mean, I think archers are good
Yep.
on any map, but
Mhm.
you'll have a balloon to match with your archer, so a spear will benefit a lot from that as well.
Although the archer also is a reason why you should not build spears, because archers are best against spears and they are relatively bad against like dogs.
Yeah, I
And
mean, I will say that
sorry.
having one spear just to threaten knights is really quite nice. Like, you don't even put it in the front line, you keep it like behind so it's in the position to counter attack.
That's true.
It's so
And
hard
like
to it's so hard to make a lot of units that can kill knights in this game. Like spears are the only unit that really consistently beats them that's at a cheaper cost.
you mean like in the game in general or on this map?
On this map, but like as far as ground infantry goes, like you look at the knight and it beats everything except spears and like golems.
Right.
And like archers can threaten to hit them pretty hard, but an archer won't kill a knight. Like an archer crit will really hurt a knight, like seriously bad. And a regular archer hit weakens a knight quite significantly too, but they're not like a spear which can like really just punch a knight in the face. Like it does base 75 against a knight.
Yeah, that's huge. And like actually we were talking about like just one spear. But the benefit of like one spear is it also controls villages, right? Because it does minimum 50 damage to villages. So you can always use it to decap a freshly captured village, and that's kind of valuable sometimes when like your commander is not available or you don't have other units, and you just have that decap without needing to have 2 hits. So it saves you 1 hit on the village to decap.
And speaking of one hit, the Alsame also didn't kill the gate with the unit he sent to kill the gate with.
I mean,
So
he could have night crit. I just think that's a misplay. He could have night crit the gate.
yeah, that is true actually. I hadn't thought of that. Yeah, he goes and hits it from the left. But yeah, I mean he doesn't kill it. So the rifle has to use a shot. So that's both of them having had to use a spare shot on their rifle.
Maybe Asame's being the gentleman here and helping Saikoya make up for bad luck.
I mean, I don't know if I'd go that far, but they have been playing a very gentlemanly set, we'll say.
Yeah, exactly.
And oh, if we look at this position, Saikoya has to defend his headquarters. There's a night crit on the back of it,
That's true.
and a sword hit and a commander hit. So yeah, we're gonna see a whole bunch of units come into place here to make sure his HQ doesn't die.
You know, it's weird to say it, but I feel like Saikoya is already a little behind. It's kind of subtle, but it's basically because he doesn't have knights, and knights are really important to like hit these side villages that can change hands very easily. Like either side could control them. It's just about who has the units in position. And Alsame has the knights, which could go and get those villages, and then he'd be playing at a significant eco lead. Whereas Saikoya right now is just like turtling around the HQ. And in fact, Alsame's knight, it can just go all the way left and hit this village on the side, which is right in front of Saikoya's barracks, and Saikoya will just be up on eco. I mean, Alsame will just be up on eco, which is a first in this set, I feel.
Right. How do you feel about like? Alright, so he's just gonna go for the village capture of that sword. I was thinking you could go and hit the other sword with his and attack it from a flagstone. There wasn't a huge amount of counter attack potential, although the knight could run back and kill it. So
Oh, that sword. It's possible. I mean, I understand why Saikoya didn't do it. It's because there's a counter attack by like the other sword in range, and then the sword that you hit also gets the attack. So it probably won't kill the sword because of flagstone. Oh, we see the first fish of the game.
ooh, what's it gonna be?
Oh,
it's an extra.
that's a nice one.
I feel like Emo knows all the fish names, and is gonna say in chat what they are. So I'm looking forward to hearing about that. And actually, because of the positioning, and because of where Saikoya dropped his merciful, he can also fish this turn as well.
It's like I said, it's gonna be an intense battle over who gets to control the koi pond. Actually, Alsame on this turn, he could like decap the village on the left and then capture the mage. So your knight would go 5 left and 1 up, and then the mage would capture from the bottom. That would be like relatively safe, can't be punished, and would put Alsame at a small eco lead going into the next turn. Alsame's knight is also in position to like crit this 5 HP village beside the mage on the right. I mean his other knight that's closer to his barracks. So Alsame, I think, is doing well in terms of controlling eco. Yeah, he goes for the knight decap play. And that's a big part of why I feel knights are kind of necessary on this map. Is because they help you so much. And the other thing is like these villages on the side, the crit spots chain into each other so well. Like you can crit one, and then you're already in position to crit another, just because there are like space like this 4 tiles apart with adjacent chaining possible. So that's a big part of why knights are really good for doing this.
I feel like that is why this single spear is going to have a decent amount of value this game, because he will be able to position it in a way where it threatens the knights that try to move forward. It's almost a shame it's on that forest tile and it didn't just sit in the above the 9 health village, because then it would have threatened that side more.
Right.
Although not completely, but yeah. These are the things you learn about trying to think of the best way of putting this. Like, when you play the game more, you start to like appreciate these very small advantages that you can bring up, or like strategies that you learn where it's like, oh, if I put my spear here, in like a turn or two from now, it's going to be able to do more effective things.
Right. Alsame only now getting his first mage. That's pretty. Oh no, actually it's the second mage. There's one left.
Very well then.
Oh, here we go.
Alright.
What's he gonna get?
Fishy. Oh, I think that's a rarer one. What does Emo have to say?
Ooh, that mage was not in a good place. I didn't
Oh,
realize
you're
the
right.
rifle.
Actually. I completely forgot about the rifle there. And that's the thing. It's so easy to forget that your opponent has a rifle in range. So yeah, it's I've definitely fallen victim to this many times playing on this map. I don't blame Alsame for falling into it, though it does mean like the advantage he got from the econ advantage he got from capturing this village is like offset a little bit. And he actually might be like an even trade, or you might be even a bit behind now from this exchange.
So something that's a little scary here is that Merciful's standing next to the koi pond.
Yeah, right. And there are 2 sword suicides possible, and Merciful can go in and hit.
And the harpy can hit as well. So I think he only needs to cover the right hand side, I think, and then he's fine.
But the thing is, even if Alsame does what we are describing, I don't think it's a kill.
I mean, it's 2 sword crit suicides.
That's true, but okay, so let's count this out. It's 160 health of sword attacking on crit, so that would be 36 damage from crit from swords. And then Merciful at full health, or basically full health, would do like 45, and this harpy would do 20. Okay, so it's an exact coin flip actually. Yeah, it's a coin flip. But he doesn't go for it.
Which is probably the wise decision. I think he can hit Merciful with the harpy though, and be completely safe.
There's the mage in range. Oh, I mean, you mean hit from the koi pond.
Yeah,
Well,
if
it
he hits
won't
from the
die,
pond.
But there's also he won't die, but there's also the archer.
Yeah, but you're forcing an archer to come forward and shoot like a harpy,
Okay.
and that isn't great damage. It's only 35.
Like the thing is, the archer is relatively safe from. Like you see where Alsame's Merciful is standing right now. This spot is great in particular for archers because it's blocked off on one side by the village, and on the other side you can put something there that won't die. Like
Oh, but here's what you can do. If you put your rifle in the right place, you can shoot the archer.
oh, that's true as well. It's a yeah. There's lots of subtle position. Oh, and actually Alsame does it. He's moving his rifle to cover Saikoya's HQ.
So what's he gonna do this time? I feel like this mage and this knight both run back.
Yeah, no, definitely. Your knight just does not want to be near those pikes. You don't want to be in range of either one because the balloons will enable a crit and then your knight dies. But it's relatively easy for the knight to escape. The mage will have a tougher time, but it can just run all the way back and it'll be safe. So Alsame going into this next turn with like a significant eco lead. If he captures this village, I mean I don't think he'll capture it. He's gonna be at least 300 gold or income up going into this next turn, which is a good spot to be in. And like he's also going to decap this village in the top right, the 7 HP village. His knight is already in position to crit that. So he'll get it next turn, and then the sword will cap it. So yeah, Alsame definitely has the lead in getting eco. I'm not sure about capturing this village in the center here. I mean, it's fine because it's merciful, but normally doing this would just give your opponent free grief.
Okay, so what do we have coming up here? We have units moving back where the mage just runs.
Right.
It is not gonna do anything that will allow it to take more damage. And that's kind of useful because, you know, let's say some more damage comes down. I mean, it could run up to the rifle and heal it and the rifle. Like that option is on the table. That knight really wishes it could be like one tile closer to threatened stronghold, but
I mean, that would be nice to have threat.
But
it's not really a big deal here. Maybe, perhaps.
yeah, Alsame needs to take a couple more turns to have his rifle be able to pick off stuff in front of it.
Right. And it's like, crucially, it's at 7 health, 74%. So it's not going to one-shot most of the things that are standing in front right now. Like, even the swords won't die to 74% rifle, unless it's a crit.
Yeah, let's take a look at this. Alsame ending his turn a lot up in income, but Saikoya has the option to take down a lot of these villages.
Yeah, Saikoya's gonna get at least 2 of them this turn. Because he can spear crit. Yeah, exactly. But all that did was put him like even. He's not ahead. And what this means is Saikoya went into this turn with 900 income or 1000 income. And Alsame is going to go into his next turn with 1200. So actually being even at the end of your turn is actually means you're kind of behind. You always want to be ahead when you're ending your turn.
Yep. And he just doesn't, like, he has all these spears on the left, but he doesn't have enough on the right hand side to deal with that single knight. So that knight can threaten to kill the mage, he can threaten to kill the dog in one hit. It will do heavy damage to swords that try and come near it. So
Yeah.
he needs stuff to go over there, and he needs like some, I think he actually needs spears on that side of the map to be able to deal with the knight. Ooh, what's Merciful doing here?
You might be going for a knight surround, as bizarre as it sounds.
It makes sense, because like if you block it in, then it obviously is trapped.
Well, I don't think you can get a clean surround. Is the problem. Like you would need to. Okay, yeah, he's not. Sorry.
Oh, he's just gonna position himself more aggressively. I really like this position from the rifle.
Yeah, it's in the spot where you can counter snipe that rifle that Alsame has.
Yep, and it's sitting on a crit as well, so
Oh, it is. Okay. Uh, it feels like Saikoya is just kind of baiting Alsame to try to attack this.
I mean that's what you go
Um,
for when you're behind though, right? As you try and bait your opponent.
yeah, that's true. But we have to work out whether it actually works. So there is Alsame can hit with the rifle and can heal the rifle. That will do about 10 to a commander. Knight will do 30. You can't hit the mage. You will get double dog. You can get dog attack and then dog crit. So actually, this works out to be another coin flip. But now it's like slightly, very, very slightly unfavored for Alsame because his rifle is not at full health. Actually, I was wrong. It's not a coin flip at all. It's 90%. So it won't work. Although, if he kills the if he kills the archer, and somehow like kills the 6 HP village, then he might be able to attack from 4 sides. But I don't think it's gonna happen. I don't see a way for him to kill the 6 HP village. It's the crucial thing. So yeah, it probably doesn't work.
I think he would need to do like rifle into the village and then harpy follow up.
Right, but then you have nothing to kill the archer. You have to use the rifle to kill the archer. So in conclusion, it doesn't work. So I feel like the play for Alsame here would just be to retreat in the left and just focus more on the right, where Sakuya has like nothing, and he's going to be faster at taking these villages on the right because Saikoya's army is like moves more slowly. Like it's mostly swords and spears and an archer which has terrible movement, and Alsame has like a knight which moves faster, and he already has like swords in position. Yeah. So if Alsame is not careful here with his 1 HP mage in the bottom left, it's going to be in it's going to be hit by the rifle again, by Sakoya's rifle. But I think Alsame, having been burned once, he'll be aware of it this time around.
How would you feel about Merciful moves up on the right hand side and like he sword crits the 5 health village?
Oh, that's a play.
He would eat a rifle shot, but that's the last bullet the rifle has. So
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think that's worthwhile. It's totally fine to sacrifice maybe a sword to rifle on this map. Because uh, it's really hard to like completely prevent your opponent's rifle from getting value, but you can often mitigate the amount of value it can get by just uh, not by just letting it hit like small units and then like abusing the turn it has to reload to do other stuff. So I do think like the right general direction of play here is for Asame to focus on the right side and just give up this left side. And the point would be that Sakoya will be slower to take this left side than Asame will be to take the right side.
yeah, because like knights are gonna capture villages quicker than spears will.
Right.
Especially like two of these villages are gonna be full health. So the spears will need some kind of assistance to take them out. And that means
I
you're
do-
potentially damaging units to do that.
I do think Alsame would like his own archer. Um, just to help restrain these spears on the left. And also maybe more anti-air, because Saikoya has like a bunch of balloons. And Saikoya is like infamous for using balloons to wall. And nothing's gonna really deal with a balloon like gold efficiently except for a mage. So Asami probably needs more of those. Although it must be said that like balloons don't attack, they just wall. So if they're almost useless when you're trying to push into the enemy's formation unless you can clear stuff and then use them to wall your other units.
Yeah, and like that's one of the things that I like. If I go against someone that's making lots of balloons, like archers are great because they'll just ignore the balloon and hit the army,
Right.
and then you create gaps using that. So the balloons become mitigated. Like you don't shoot balloons with archers, you shoot other things with the archer, and then they basically go around the balloon. So
Alsami doing something interesting here. He moved Merciful up like we were talking, but didn't use his sword to crit it. I guess he was afraid of the rifle hit, of the rifle crit.
yeah, he's just ignoring that actually, or he's respecting the rifle, I should say, and ignoring the village.
Right. I mean, it could also be that he's trying to get groove off of it.
Also a possibility. We do have to take into consideration that these are two players that are memeing pretty hard. So one thing, Saikoya is behind, right? But
Right.
his army is incredibly mobile given that he could just pick up everything in those balloons and just dump it in front of his opponent.
Right. But that's true, but you also have to consider that on the turn where you unload everything, the stuff that you unloaded is vulnerable. Like they can't attack on the same turn that they were unloaded. So um, it's not as simple as just moving everything there. You also have to do it in a safe way.
And actually, I did kind of forget that there were two units in one of those balloons, so Alsame's army did look a bit smaller than it actually is.
Oh, Alsame takes the moment to pick off one of the balloons.
I don't know if that's worth it, because like an archer crit will come down on that mage, and
I mean, it's worth it gold-wise, slightly. But yeah, it does mean that Alsame will need more replacements. And that's the thing, right? Saikoya is always really happy to trade his balloons for enemy mages because balloons come from your tower. They are like an extra unit. So every time you make that trade, you're like going up one unit.
very true. Although, I guess Alsame has such a big army and such a big economy lead right now that you just have to weigh it against each other, right? And he's gonna put.
Right.
I love this rifle position. Every time Alsame puts his rifle somewhere good defensively, Saikoya finds a forest to put his rifle in to punish.
That's really cool. That's nice actually. It's like counterplay to the rifle.
Ooh, and I like this. Oh, so he's gonna use the sword to get the crit, and then he's gonna use Merciful to decap.
Nice.
And yeah, he's just gonna move units forward. And like, I think he's actually gonna use, and this is the smart thing you do when you're using spears, is you don't let the spears tank the hits. You put other units in front of the spears, so the spears are there to counterattack.
Right, because once the spears get damaged, they can't really do their job, which is to crit things and kill things with crit. Saikoya just has this pike line in the top now.
Oh yeah.
That's pretty funny. But Saikoya has just left his whole stronghold open. So you might see Alsame just swing around and like begin to pressure the stronghold here. And if it turns into a race, I think Alsame will be slightly faster because he's already in position.
That said, this army can come back and defend.
That's true. But it would mean that there's less army that can go down and capture these villages. Okay, yeah. So so Sequoia's stronghold is not really under any like serious threat here, I want to say, and it's just about pressure and what you can get with your pressure.
So something worth noting is that Saikoya's down in income right now, but he's ahead in unit count. So his army is actually pretty sizable. And like he's doing a really good job with the positioning. Like Alsame's not able to use his rifle because Saikoya has a balloon that's ferrying this rifle from forest to forest. And oh, he can't get it to the next forest, so he can't move it. He can't move it that aggressively forward, but there are a lot of options here for things like decapping. Like you could use the archer again to soften up that full health village, which means the spears can go and crit it. The knight's also in a position to crit it as well, so...
Right. So, it turns out I was right. Alsame is getting groove off this village.
Let's take a look. Ooh, so this 6th health village is actually quite well protected. The knight, if it was gonna take it down, would have to do it from the forest, otherwise it would die.
Right. Forest is totally safe though.
The rifle's covering the sides of the village now, so... Ooh, Golem comes out. I guess if you have that much income, Golem is a good choice.
I do think this Golem would have been better like if it was built from the other Rex. Because then it gets to the front quicker, right? Because it's trying to be a wall against this army on the left, and now it's going to take just a bit longer to get into good position. I do feel like Saikoya has a good push here, though, mainly because he has a bunch of stuff, like cheap units that can wall and threaten squishy units like the rifle and the mage. So I kind of predict that we'll see Saikoya just start to push in on this next turn. There are some things in range that Saikoya can attack, like Merciful could go in and hit this mage or this dog in the bottom, and he will probably be very well defended. And Saikoya will just take the villages. Oh, that's really smart. Alsame uses the harpy to block off the spears, so the spears can't hit the knight.
Ooh, that is good actually. So yeah, that's a really safe capture. He's put himself up 1400 to 900. So he's just gonna maintain this big economy lead. And he's gonna bank a little bit of money at the end of the turn too, so we could see like a dragon come out next turn. We could see a golem come out. He could drop a mage heal and have plenty of money, so...
I really like this balloon positioning by Alsame. He's setting it up so that Merciful can come back in the balloon and defend if necessary. Yeah, that's a pretty nice detail. So the thing to note is, if Saikoya goes down and gets these villages, if he commits too much to those, then I'm pretty sure Alsame will just attack the stronghold here. So Saikoya has to find the balance between capturing and like also defending the stronghold, and maybe like making his own push against the stronghold.
Ooh.
Saikoya restoring economic parity on this turn. Oh, and I was right actually. Saikoya goes in with Merciful. Remains to be seen whether this can be punished.
Let's see. There is not a night crit.
That's the thing. There is a witch hex in range, but this dog that Alsame just built is not in range to attack Merciful. So
Yeah.
if you had it from the other side, then it would be able to contribute.
Yeah, if you built the golem there,
Oh yeah, right. Like that's what I was saying. Like this golem would have been so much better on the other side of the map. Like golem positioning is actually kind of a skill that you have to master because your golems can't jump in the balloon like your commander can. So you have once you commit them to an area, they're actually like relatively slow to get out of it. So you have to plan ahead and decide and figure out where you want them to be and then maneuver them into that position.
okay, Saikoya is moving some units back. There is only a witch as far as anti-air on this north front. I mean, like the harpy kind of, but harpy takes a long
Ooh.
time to kill a balloon. 2 turns.
It's worth noting, the rifle in the forest is within range of like a couple of Alsame's dogs, or actually just one of Alsame's dogs. So Alsame has to be a bit, Saikoya has to be a bit careful here so as to not allow that rifle to die. I think he did a good job of it. I don't see a way for Alsame to break that.
Yeah, I don't think he can. Even with a hex, there just isn't enough damage.
Right.
Saikoya, they're doing a really good job of bringing this to a pretty even game again. Like, it's gonna end on even income. He has a unit lead. His commander is pretty safe. If he gets surrounded and takes a bunch of damage, then he can just walk. Like, he's got units there to keep him out of being killed. The one bad thing is he's gonna eat a rifle shot this turn, but the rifle's injured, so it won't kill anything.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I feel like the play here is just to go push the south now. Now that Saikoya is kind of... Oh, interesting. That is an interesting hex. Is Alsame trying for lethal? I mean, there's definitely no lethal here. Unless Alsame like... Okay, I don't think he's going for lethal, he's just going for a bit of damage.
Yeah, and pressure's good. You can force your
Right.
opponents back.
No, he's going for lethal. But he forgot that his dog cannot reach. I'm pretty sure he just forgot. He didn't see that this dog can't reach. So that's pretty sad for him.
I guess, but if he puts enough stuff to punish anything that attacks into his mages in the night, then it isn't too bad. And Merciful can't fully heal. So like maybe
Not
he's gonna
really.
try and chase him down.
I feel like that just can't work because most of Alsame's stuff is in the top, and it's gonna take a couple of turns to get there. And Saikoya has all this stuff that he can balloon down immediately to just help wall and also reinforce the counter attack. So I just feel that Merciful is gonna escape here. and Alsame will lose like a couple units for nothing. Oh, that's really unfortunate. If Alsame had placed his dog on the other side, then there would have been lethal here. But
Yeah.
Alsame, but Saikoya, to be fair, if he had done that, then Saikoya probably wouldn't have done this. Like,
Yeah, I think
aggressive.
Saikoya only went in because he knew that he was safe.
That's gotta feel bad as Alsame.
And Jade, like, he's just gonna walk Merciful back and heal. There's no reason not to. Actually, looking at it, there isn't too much of a punish. Like, the mages will die. But that's it. Like, the knight isn't under any kind of threat. And I guess, like, you have to dedicate, like, a sword. Or you could hit the mage with a dog from the mountain, but... Part of me wonders if you, like, move the rifle down and, like, heal off the tower. And just have that so it covers to hit whatever counterattacks. So rather than firing and not killing a unit this turn, he could go for potentially setting up to like kill units next turn.
Probably taking quite a bit of time on this turn again. Seems that he does this whenever he gets into a tough spot. Sits down and takes his time and thinks about it, which is a good habit. Like, you don't want to rush important turns and then regret it later on.
Yeah, but I do think the position he's in right now, he maybe could be playing this a bit faster.
That's true. Like, he has 15 minutes on the clock, and I'm sure Saikoya has like well over 25.
Yeah, so he could put himself in a position where he has a lead and then blows it because he's thinking too much. Like, there comes a point when you just kind of have to pick options and go for it.
I would like to know what Alsame is thinking about actually. It seems like a fairly straightforward turn. You move the balloon 3 down and 3 left. And then you drop Merciful and the sword on like the forest and the plains. Yeah, exactly. And maybe it's just internet connection. It could be that Alsame has a slow internet. And then now oh wow. That's an aggressive engage. Okay, so these dogs are dying. They did some reasonable damage. So it is possible that, I mean, Alsame is probably trying to set up like 2-turn lethal here, and I guess that's what he's calculating. But I just feel it will not be possible. Because of how many things that Saikoya can wall with. Okay, sure, if Saikoya messes up this turn, then he can die, but if he plays correctly, I don't think he can die. But it's also about, I guess, how you fend off this push, right? Because now Alsame has the golem. So it's complex. I actually can't tell if like...
I love the second witch. I was just thinking that. You get the double
nice.
hex. So Merciful becomes incredibly vulnerable this
Right.
turn.
Yeah, with 2 hexes, um, a lot of things die more easily with 2 hexes. Like it reaches some critical breakpoints that that allow you to get 1-hit KOs. Like for example, on planes, the sword crit on the sword is only a 1-hit KO if you already hexed twice. And also the witches will help deal with like these balloons, because Saikoya is probably going to try to wall off with balloons, and so Alsame needs to deal with that.
He's gonna use the spear to kill that. That does.
Okay.
Alright, so he's gonna heal there. I think he's gonna drop a mage heal down here.
Yeah, that's highly likely. And if he does that, I think there will not be lethal anymore, provided the follow-up is also correct.
He does have to put a lot of army in the way here, though. Like the golem can walk up and kill a spear.
Yeah, with a hex. With a hex, it will kill.
And you do just generally want to hex a lot of this stuff anyway.
Right.
You could even
So
just
I
like
feel
fancy if you double hex, like it just kills one of the spears outright.
I feel like Alsame's point when he did that series of sacrificial dog attacks is to try to delay Saikoya from reinforcing the bottom left, so he has less stuff in the coming turns, because all that stuff was spent killing dogs, and so now you have less stuff to reinforce Merciful. So that could be an interesting sacrifice, a gambit, so to speak.
Yeah, and also actually something interesting. The fact that he has 2 witches, he can hex and he can use a witch to pick off a balloon. And that limits Merciful's escape options.
True.
Alright, heal comes down.
For the record, I do just think that Saikoya will be able to escape though.
I think he will as well. He had to spend quite a lot and he has to put a lot of army in place. And if you look at what died here, only one of the mages that was used to attack Merciful died.
Right.
So
But it is true that like Alsame invested quite a bit of gold into that push, right? Because he did the witch hacks, which is 300, and then he sacrificed a bunch of dogs on the top, and then one of his mages died, and another one is at like 14%, and he took some damage on his knight. So when you add everything up, it's actually quite a significant sum. So he has to get the return on investment here in order for all of that to be worth it.
this is true. And he's behind in unit count. Fairly significantly now. And behind in income, so... and that's before unit builds come out, so he's even further behind in unit count now.
So, what I'm thinking, I think it's possible for Alsame to get a knight crit unmerciful from the other side. Like you use a witch to kill, you hex, and then you yeah, you double hex, and then the golem kills the full health spear, and then just like a sword kills the 4 health spear, and then a dog kills the sword on the plains. Although it's actually not guaranteed. Actually, that's like unfavored to kill, so maybe it won't work.
Yeah, well, he might go for it though.
I think even if it doesn't work, it puts pressure on Saikoya, maybe.
He could sacrifice his mage to make that guaranteed.
That's true, but like then you're I was thinking that you would use the mage to heal your knight so that the knight crit is more powerful. But if you do that, then yeah, I just don't think there's lethal here. So Alsame should probably pivot into dealing like army damage. It's like this knight could take out mage, I guess. That might be kind of good. So that your witch doesn't die.
Yeah. Yeah, it could definitely hit the 90% mage.
Especially if you heal it up first. Although again, that's a lot of money that Alsame is spending on unit abilities like heals and hexes and things that Saikoya is spending on units. So
Right. Shoots the swords, so there's now a weak sword, which I guess is like, it makes sending Merciful in at this point quite scary. Because now you've got a weak dog, you've got a weak sword, there's a couple of other weak units, so he has to kind of kill some of these units if he's going to go in. Actually, there's 2 weak dogs nearby. There's the 83% and the 63%. So what is Alsame going to do? I mean, he's spending so much time thinking about this.
right. So like there's definitely no lethal here. And now that he spent so much kills a actually I think that's a good play because probably the follow-up is to kill the mage. And then he only has one mage to deal with. Although that's not really true either. Because something that Alsame might try to do is he could wipe out most of the army on the bottom left, and then he could balloon stuff into like to maybe kind of block Merciful from getting back, or perhaps Alsame just going for army damage here, which I think is the correct play. He does a fair chunk of damage, to be fair. It's good damage coming out, and like now that you've already exposed the witch, you can actually go in with the harpy at the top. Like there's nothing lost by doing that because the mage can only hit one of your air units anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a lot about opportunity cost.
Oh, yeah, he's going to put the balloon in front. So yeah, he's just going to charge in. And, like, I guess the dog hits the weak village.
Or you could hit Merciful, but I think hitting the weak village is better.
Yeah, the only, I guess, thing I would say about if you knock the village down is that something could capture it and then you could heal fully off of it again, but I don't think that's actually useful in this circumstance.
Right, because Merciful is 100% just get hopping in the balloon and like, flying away, right?
Yeah, unless he decides to stand and fight.
That would be so brave, and also I think that would just throw the game, if I'm being honest.
Maybe. I mean, he could try and set up a lethal. Let's see. You've got a Merciful that can be opened on 2 sides. It can be shot by...
Actually, there's a night crit on Alsame. That's pretty interesting. And you can like clear the witch with a mage. And he also has rifle and archer, which can hit Merciful. So
Is he actually going to do this? I think. Because there's an archer
he has-
crit on this knight.
and then there's there's actually two archers which can hit Merciful and a rifle.
Oh, but I
and a
think you
knight
use
crit.
one archer to hit the knight and then try and clear the knight with like your own Merciful.
No. Oh wait, no. You would hit. You see this spear. The archer would hit the spear, and then you would walk Merciful. Oh wait, no, you can't do that. Never mind.
No, I think you use
That's what-
Merciful to clear the knight. And then that opens up 90% health sword suicide, which I think is
Wait.
guaranteed.
Oh wait, hold on, Barrett. Do you see that dog like beside the balloon? The archer hits the dog, then like a sword crit finishes it off, and then suddenly Merciful has a path to hit Merciful.
Oh, right. And then you've got a bunch of suicides on top of that.
Right.
And you've got rifle, you've got
Oh, you've got archer, you've got night crit, you've got Merciful. That feels really guaranteed actually. I think Alsame is dead.
yeah. And that would be I don't know. Actually, there's a bunch of different options here because like what you could do is you could archer crit the sword, regular sword hit the sword, and then the 90% sword can go through and suicide. I don't know if that's better though.
No, I'm not quite sure what you're talking about. Do you mean the spear?
Yes, you archer crit the spear, sword hit on the spear to finish it. Okay, so he's gonna use the really, really weak sword to do 1% damage, which is, you know, kind of fair enough.
Regarding what you said, I don't think it's worthwhile to. Oh, I think he did it in the wrong order.
Yeah, you
might
could
not
have
matter.
used the dog.
He could have sacked like the 6 HP dog as well.
Yeah, that would have been quite a bit of damage. I guess
Although
he's...
there is a, wait, hold on. So Saikoya could be going for like a dog crit to finish it off.
No?
Oh, it's gonna be a roll though. This is gonna. No,
Off
it's not
we
possible
go.
anymore. Saikoya messed up his lethal.
Oh, wait, no. He can move the balloon around to drop a dog for a dog crit.
Right, but that. Oh, actually. Oh, it's enough, but it's a roll.
It is a roll.
I think if he had done it the way we
Oh,
were
but he
talking,
gets it!
nice.
Oh.
He was quite favorite there, to be fair. But I think if he had done it the way that we were talking about, with merciful hitting and also like,
Sacrificing stuff, yeah.
yeah, that would probably have been better odds. That would have been guaranteed, I think.
Oh, but, I mean, that was still pretty good.
I think he got to fish before he got the lethal, so.
Yeah, he did. Actually, yeah. I mean, that wins for style points, right? Oh. And that Saikoya goes through, beating Alsame 2-1. So Alsame goes out, he takes his, at the moment, $15. That might go up a little bit, just because of the extra money that came in.
And Saikoya now gets a chance to meme in the next match of the losers bracket.
He does. So